final round of GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. We have come across the ditch and we have been welcomed, I should say, warmly, because we're in the Waikato, which is home to 1.4 million visitors annually. We have joined them for this fastest growing region in New Zealand in that regard. World-class motorsport meets world-class adventure, nature, culture, and a whole lot more wellness as well. And we are in for a fantastic afternoon of GT3 racing. Hi everybody, Greg Raston, Andrew Waite with you, wherever you're watching right around the world. Good afternoon, welcome, kia ora, as the Kiwis say. This is going to be fantastic, Andrew. Last stop of the tour for this exciting championship, and it will be decided here if some people lay it on the line, and I sense they're going to.
Last stop, last race. The championship is certainly not over. We've got Brock Feeney on pole position for this one. That's exactly what he needs to do to be able to tie this championship up with Brad Schumacher. But Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute, they're not too far behind. But when you start adding success penalties into it and everything, it sort of goes a little bit back towards Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute. They're sort of in the box seat, so advantage them at the moment. But yeah, I reckon it'll be all go, that's for sure.
The choir is lined up behind us very shortly, the national anthems of both Australia and New Zealand. You might be able to hear in the distance a wonderful symphony of GT3 cars that have been unleashed on the circuit. Andrew's talked about it there. Everything from Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Audis, and a whole lot more. Let's talk about the teams involved in this and what they will bring to the equation. On the Audi side, for Brock Feeney and for Brad Schumacher, Melbourne Performance Centre, they know what they're doing in these sorts of situations, don't they?
They've been around for years. They know exactly what they're doing here. They've won so many championships. This is something that they've been in before, the same situation, so they'll be pushing super hard to try and make everything happen. And, you know, at this stage of the weekend, they are doing everything they need to do. They've both qualified on pole position, both Brock and Brad, and they won the race yesterday, so they're absolutely maximising what they can for the moment, so they'll be heads down. But, you know, you can never discount Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute. They've had such a great season all year so far, and that's why they're in the lead of this championship.
They are backed by the team from Western Australia, a world-class outfit in Arise Racing, who in relatively recent time in GT World Challenge Australia have established themselves as something of a benchmark. There are class runners to consider in this race this afternoon as well. And can we inject, as we saw yesterday, let's call them some interlopers, some Kiwis that don't have to worry about championship equations, and that made the racing yesterday unbelievably good. Damon Leach, his brother, I should say, Brendan was with us earlier in the championship, attacked at the dipper in a manner I have not seen here before.
Yeah, you don't see that move very often. The way the curb just juts up, he was right up on it. There's some great shots of it around. He got stuck in, got past Johnny, and you know, between him and Johnny Reid, they had a great battle towards the end of the race. And at one point as well, Jackson Evans was amongst it. That's another Kiwi as well, don't forget. So yeah, it was all go for the Kiwis, and they're making a fantastic race out of it.
I think Sam Fillmore is someone that we should shine a little bit of a light on too. He's been busy today in Somerset GT New Zealand as well, but he hit it out of the park. The driving from him yesterday, arguably some of the best we've seen from him.
For someone that's brand new to this championship, yes, he's done a lot of racing in GT3 cars, but he's brand new to this championship, and the tyre is so much different. There's so much talk around this tyre for the way he's, you've got to use it and bring it in, and how it actually works. So for the way that Sam's come in and put himself fair and square up against all the best AM drivers in Australasia, he's done a fantastic job of that, made some great passing manoeuvres, so I expect to see a bit more out of that.
I'm going to leave you because I'm going to go and wander the grid, have a fantastic call with Richard Crail, Andrew Waite, one of the best in New Zealand. Cars, as you would have heard there, have started rocking up to the grid. Can I just get our cameraman Tony to pan around, check out the lineup of people that are about to wander the grid here. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to have you all here with us in New Zealand to soak up before the race start some of the energy, the action, and a whole lot more here. Let's go to Jackson Evans first. Do you mind, team, if I dive in here? Hey, nice to catch up with you. This has been a cracking championship. What have you got to do this afternoon? What is the plan of attack for the afternoon?
Yeah, look, it's been an amazing year so far, but you know, we're treating this race as any other one. We want to go out and win the race, and you know, put our best foot forward, and you know, hopefully, however it comes out in the wash, we're still on top.
You have raced globally. You have, you know, kind of centred yourself in Australia in relatively recent time, but at heart, you love this nation. What would it mean to win it here this afternoon?
It'd be a pretty special feeling to win here at home. You know, I've got some family and obviously some friends over watching, so you know, it's a pretty special place to do it. I had a memory pop up a couple days ago, and the last time I raced here, I finished on the podium alongside Timmy Miles, so it'd be pretty cool.
would be cool indeed. We miss him, mate, but I know you'll do him proud this afternoon. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
There he is, Jackson Evans, and this is his set of wheels this afternoon, an absolutely stunning Ferrari. He will share that with Elliott Shute. Off to the left is the Kelso electrical Audi, to be piloted by both Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher. You'll notice the name Brown here. That, of course, is the reigning supercars champion in Will Brown, who is away racing in a TCR car in Asia at the moment. He's been a part of this campaign, but both Brock and Brad have kind of largely paired for the bulk of the championship. So they are going to, as you may have heard earlier in our coverage today, that Brad feels like the best way for them to go about this afternoon is to leave nothing on the table. Absolutely attack. We're about to be attacked by a sea of fans who are going to soak this up. Can we get a bit of permission here from Zagami Autosport to dive in? He's getting unstrapped and will jump out. Now, this is a new thing for Cameron Campbell and Josh Buchan, who is just diving out of the car at the moment. He's a two-time TCR Australia champion, has done some great things. This is another kind of step or phase in your career, mate. Have you enjoyed this so far? And you made a pretty good impression yesterday. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Rusty. Yeah, it's good. I mean, this year has looked very different to what I thought it would look like. I was due to be in TCR Australia for a season and GT4 for a season, and it's turned into TCR World Tour throughout Asia and a round of this at the back end of the year. So amazing opportunity. There's no better car in the field to drive than a Ferrari, and anyone who says that's lying. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
You've driven some good things in a race sense, and then even away from that. You know, for those that own the machine, so to speak, what has it been like driving this car? Everyone raves about them. What's it like?
I don't really know what I don't know. So it's fantastic, obviously, but you know, just looking at a few of the guys we're racing against, the Audis, even though they're an old car, I mean, they're hammering everyone this weekend. So clearly that's the car you want for this weekend. The category works where everyone gets a go at it at some point. And even though our car is amazing, you know, it's definitely not the fastest thing here this weekend. So look, to be honest, it's just a privilege to be on the grid, to rip some gears, and I'm an adopted Kiwi with my Rodent connection, so this is a home race.
Good on you, indeed you are, mate. Nice to chat with you. Can we just, Zagami Autosport boss Rod Wilson, I can see at the front of the car here, have a look at this. All these years later, the four-time Bathurst champion, still immortalised. There are these faces floating around. Can I dive in here? What is this life size? Anyway, what's your name?
Justin.
Justin, where are you from?
I'm from Papamoa.
Hey, it's super cool to have you here. Have you been roped into this, or are you genuinely a Greg Murphy fan?
Bit of both.
Bit of both. Are you enjoying your weekend here at Hampton Downs?
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving it.
Hey, you're a pro. Not everyone can do that, diving in for a television interview. Well done. Thank you very much for talking to us there. Great job. I would have been quite nervous doing something like that at a similar age. I've got a team photo happening over here at present. The Guy Valmont crew have done an amazing job throughout the season. And for this final round, they're soaking it up and celebrating and enjoying a great year. They'll party tonight, everyone, of course, with the awards happening at the end of things today. So let's keep wandering here. I think we've got a little bit more time before we go to commentary. We come past the second of the Ferrari, Steve White, Jordan Love. Can we dive in here? Hello, mate. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Hey, weekend so far. Have you enjoyed it here? Give us a little debrief.
Mate, how good's Hampton Downs? Yeah, you can't not enjoy it. It's been really good fun. I mean, especially in this car, it's awesome. So qualifying didn't really go how we wanted it to, so we're a little bit further back than we would like, but that's all right. We'll press on and see where we end up.
I know Steve kind of prefers to stay out of the limelight. We always respect that about him. I mean, let's just pause for a moment and talk about his year. What he's brought to the table has been terrific, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I can't thank Steve enough for having me along for this year and to help him with his return to racing after spending so long in the sport and then spending so many years out of it. To have him come back and be involved has been very enjoyable, not only on the track but also off the track. So yeah, it's been good.
Right, final one. What does 2026 look like? I mean, we're talking now early November. What's next year look like?
Yeah, hopefully some exciting stuff up in the air, especially at the early phase of next year. It's looking quite promising. So yeah, looking forward to it.
True pro. That basically means watch this space. Thank you, mate. Well done. I'm getting cornered here by different people. So this is the car yesterday that made a heck of an impression. So Sam Fillmore and Johnny Reid, and they're both beside me here on the grid. Hello, mate. How are
Hey,
you?
Rusty. Very well, man.
Hey, firstly, congratulations to the both of you on the combined job that you did yesterday. The fellow to your right did a superb job in the opening stint, didn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, you can't coach that. That was just off the cuff, great passing. Credit when credit's due. Sammy did an awesome job bringing us forward.
So, Sam, I mean, you've been in Somerset GT New Zealand today, but has this been about the chance to kind of go head-to-head with the Aussies and see where you guys are at here? Have you enjoyed the thrill, the challenge of that?
Oh, we've loved it. And, you know, to support the Aussies coming over and you see the crowds out here and what Quinny and Josie have done, like, it's just magic. So we want to get them over here more often.
We agree with that. Enjoy the afternoon to both of you. About to take you to commentary. Here's Richard Craill.
Rusty, thank you very much. This has been a true Trans-Tasman collaboration to bring two key Australian categories, more than 30 cars and more than 150 people across the ditch to race here at the Repco next. Recognise that with the national anthems of Australia and New Zealand. And to perform that, we welcome the Hamilton Civic Choir. Rousing rendition of Advance Australia Fair and God Defend New Zealand by the Hamilton Civic Choir. They were founded in early 1946 and they've actually had some recent success internationally, Andrew Wade. As I welcome you to commentary, it sets the tone, doesn't it? This is a proper Trans-Tasman battle we're about to see this afternoon.
It really is. It's Kiwi versus Australia for the championship at the moment. I know there's a few more Aussies than Kiwis, but we'll still claim it. It's so good to see here at the Alliance Services Hampton Downs GT International.
It's a busy pit lane and it's a busy grid here at Hampton Downs. Let's go back to Rusty.
Crailsy, we can't do it without great partners. Andrew just mentioning about Alliance Services there a moment ago. This is Junior Chantung, who is with us from the company. Thank you, Vert, for what you guys have and girls have done for us here. This is huge, mate, isn't it?
Honestly, I can't believe it was only earlier this year we were here, and it's just a beautiful day. It's so nice to be here, to be part of this series. Honestly, I can't thank you guys enough, and working with Mike and the team at Jen, it's awesome. It's so good to be here.
And yesterday, Sam did a superb job, didn't he?
Oh, well, as you can appreciate, we all love Sam. He's our hero, so happy days, mate. We're here to support him. We can't wait to carry on.
Good on you. Thank you for talking with us today.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
He was talking about Mike Marsden there too, who's off to the side. We can see some of the drivers starting to get ready over here at the moment. Looks like George King, I think, getting set for the car. Where's Marcel Zalua? I spotted him before. I'm not sure if he's still here at the car for Guy Velmet. Let's dive in here. We might be able to get a little word with Jaden Ojeda, who's about to the juice. Hello, mate. You're about to go here. Your boys' weekend's been okay so far. What about this race?
Yeah, difficult qualifying session, and the 15-second success penalty made things difficult yesterday as well. But looking forward to having some fun off this start and seeing what we can do in today's race. Paul
Lucitti, who's just wandered off not to get on. He's we should give him a bit of a shout out for the year that he's had, and we want to shine a bit of a light on you too, mate. Congratulations, as we said the other day, the news about Premier, that you'll be a full-time supercars driver effective immediately, basically.
Yeah, 100%. I have to give a shout out to my girlfriend because I wrecked our holiday next week. We have to do a trip to the Gold Coast instead of staying here in beautiful New Zealand. So, Paul's done an awesome job this year, and obviously some exciting stuff in the works for me coming up later in a few weeks and for next year, so really looking forward to it.
I'm holding you up. Get strapped in, mate. Have a great afternoon. There he is, Jaden Ojeda, bright young star of motorsport in this region, and we should point out to a factory AMG Mercedes driver. He's been very keen in that whole arrangement with Premier to ensure that he preserves that arrangement. Yesterday, this car here, the Shannons, Aston Martin in the hands of Liam Talbot and Josh Hunt, was mighty. Josh is strapped in there now. He brought the car home yesterday. One of the things about our races for GT3 is that what happens on Saturday in terms of the two-driver lineup is swapped around on Sunday. So he brought it home yesterday, Josh. He will start the race today. I think we're going to get the please clear the grid now, and I do not want to get in trouble. So, Richard Crail, over to you. Let's enjoy the final one for the year.
He's a stickler for the rules, our Greg Russ. Thank you. Some of your best work down there on a very busy grid. Great to see so many people here at the Alliance Services Hampton Downs GT International. This was race one, the final round of GT World Challenge Australia yesterday, and it was from the start pretty feisty. Brad Schumacher got the jump early, Andrew Waite, but it didn't take long for that Aston Martin to race its way to the front.
Yeah, a few little sprinkles of rain, making it just a little bit more difficult, but once Liam Talbot got out in front, he just pulled a huge gap on the field, and there were all sorts of passes going on. Sam Fillmore making a few nice dive bombs down into turn 9 there. He's certainly got that one down packed.
It's good to see a bit of hero worship going on for Sam down on the grid there, which I loved, and he delivered a brilliant pass there on Rene Gracie to work the IMS racing car forward. Liam Talbot disappeared up the road. Great battles once the pros got in. Damon Leach down the inside of Johnny Reid in a battle of the Audis, and then Jackson Evans got into the mix as well and got himself a couple of bonus positions and some bonus championship points as well, which it turns out could have been crucial. This was the pass for the lead. Brock Feeney was in full send mode. He committed, he sent it, and then he got the checkered flag.
As Brock said he was going in that hole no matter what, and got the move done to take the win.
A great race, entertaining the whole way through, and those stories and the subplots will continue today. And those two cars on the front row are the two cars battling for the championship today. Here's Hampton Downs, it's 3.8 kilometres. The elevation change is 10.2 metres. Honestly, it feels like more than that. There's great undulation at this circuit. Lots of challenges and a real mixture of high and slow speed corners.
Yeah, there really is, especially turn 1. It just completely drops away. You can't see where the track's going down there. You can't see the apex. So it's a great way to start the lap around here, especially when it's a full field of beautiful GT3 machinery. I think we're going to see it all unfold in front of us.
So the driver that finished the race yesterday will start the race today, and then the AM drivers will bring them home at the end. So the pros are in the car, which means Brock Feeney, Jackson Evans, Josh Buchan, who we heard from on the grid, the double TCR Australia champion, Ryan Wood, Speedy Kiwi, who last night was announced as a recipient of some backing from the Tony Quinn Foundation, and he will contest Formula Regional Oceania this summer in New Zealand. 4 rounds, 15 races, he will be in a wings and slicks open wheeler, which is an incredible challenge and something we look forward to with a huge amount of anticipation for that young Kiwi. George King will start the 55 guy of our modern racing car. Jordan Love will be fired up to start that Ferrari, and Jaden Ojeda we heard from, he's always fast, he's always exciting to watch. Tony D'Alberto and Josh Hunt as well. Beautiful conditions, and the starting grid for the final race in what's been a compelling season for GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. It's Audi and Ferrari on the front row, and the 2 rivals of the season, Andrew Waite, go at it once again.
Yeah, it is, and then the row behind is also Ferrari versus Audi again, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch, especially with Buchan as well. It's his first race start in a GT3 car as well, so to be up that far in front of the field is pretty awesome to see. And Ryan Wood on the inside, I'm sure he won't give him too much room. He'll be fighting for a win as well, as I know Steve Brooks being the Kiwi, well, the 2 Kiwis, they'll be looking for a solid result.
There's a mandatory pit stop of 76 seconds in the middle of the race. You get 15 seconds extra if you won yesterday. You get 10 seconds if you finish second and 5 seconds if you finish third. So the car that won yesterday, they had to win. They had to deliver car 888 Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher, but they do have a penalty for that today. That's the way the championship works. Better to get the points on Saturday and worry about what happens on Sunday, and that's the operation today for Team NPC.
Yeah, and that's the opposite for the Arias team. They obviously didn't get any success penalty yesterday, so that puts them in the box seat quite nicely heading into this one, as we see them starting to form up 2 by 2 as the safety car starts to pull away. The lights are off, and they'll be setting the pace.
So a championship awaits at the end of an hour's worth of racing. Beautiful conditions here in the Waikato region of New Zealand. The track temperature, it's been baking in the sun all day. This is the hottest it has been all weekend on track. 44-degree track temperature, low 20s ambient. Beautiful conditions for GT racing. And to crown a new champion, can Ferrari defend their crown from last year, or can Team NPC and Audi Sport Australia steal one back against the tide of the prancing horse? It all comes down to this decider in GT World Challenge Australia on Kiwi soil. We go racing at Hampton Downs. Good start from the Mercedes behind. George King trying to swivel left and right, but Brock Feeney dives across to the apex. Ryan Wood just backed out of it. It looked like for a moment there might be contact with Jackson Evans, but the Audi got out of it. But Wood up a spot already in front of Josh Buchan. Feeney weaving left and right to generate some tyre temperature in the Pirellis. Wood goes the send. Evans closes the door, slams it shut. He's second.
Oh, Damon Leach straight ahead, off into the gravel. Damage to that car.
It's got broken steering, left front corner by the looks of it. Hard lock on the left-hand side as he was turning into a right-hand corner.
Yeah, something was wrong right from the braking point. Sort of missed the start of that, so yeah, something not right there. But look, straight away, Brock Feeney has started to pull a gap already. These cold Pirelli tyres, they take a while to come up to temperature. We have a safety car on the way. You can see another car there stopped as well, so obviously contact between the 2 of them.
That's the guy of Valmont Racing, number 55, Mercedes AMG, that started out of 5th place with the Brit George King behind the wheel, sharing with Marcel Zalua. And those 2 cars stranded down at turn 2, so the BMW M safety car will be on the racetrack, and Renee Gracie can but watch on as her car is stranded in the gravel and has absolutely nowhere to go. And a lovely tribute, back of shot just quickly there, for the late, great Tim Miles down at Team NPC, who drove for that team up to the midpoint of this season. And he'll be watching on, I'm sure, loving all the theatre around GT World Challenge.
Especially back in his home country as well this weekend.
So Damon Leach, they're going to flat tow this car out, but it looked like that left front corner was flapping about as he barreled through the gravel trap. So it almost looks like on the way to replay there's suspension or steering damage. This is the start. Great jump for Feeney, timed it to perfection. Ryan Wood for a moment looked like he was going to go the full send here.
Yeah, the gap just started closing down by Jackson Evans, but between the 2 of them got through safely. And it was Brock Feeney who just pulled that big gap on those first couple of corners, and Ryan Wood had a little bit of a look up the inside of Jackson Evans.
Yep, not sure.
Yeah,
not sure.
One to...
So the accident, or the contact, if any, had happened to that point as they roll down into turn 2. The long run down there, over 250 k's an hour, and a big stop. So cast your eyes back. So Damon Leach has gone across to the inside and he's pulled out. Oh, and he's got sandwiched between the two AMGs of Jaden Ojeda and George King, and it's launched the OnlyFans Audi up into the air a little bit.
Yeah, so it just looks like the point of braking, Damo was just that little bit late, and then he's realised he's turned left to try and get out of the situation, and unfortunately collected the other car on the way through. There's the character, as we know, Tim Miles. He'll be certainly watching over, as he said before, Richard.
They'll try and get this car back to pit lane and maybe rectify the damage just to go out and secure a race finish and get some more laps. 50 minutes to go. We're behind the control of the BMW M safety car here at Hampton Downs. And the recovery underway for the Guy of Valmont Racing Car. Great qualifying performance for George King to put them 5th on the grid for this race. Unfortunately, we'll go no further by the looks of it. Just caught up. Almost collateral damage for that car on the outside, the Merc.
Yeah, unfortunately, bit of an innocent bystander in that one. So you can see Damo there. He's trying to work out whether or not he can get it back. They're not doing too much with it at the moment, but I don't think they'll get that car too far just with that damage on the front left.
It might need to be towed the whole way back or a stronger style of recovery. So we're behind the safety car. Fast start for Brock Feeney. If you want a safety car, it's probably when the pro drivers are in. The idea is that you get your pro in and go as hard and as fast as you possibly can to build a margin, but they are also evenly matched. And in GT World Challenge Australia Racing, it's the AM driver that will make the difference. So this race is yes, it's a battle between Brock Feeney and Jackson Evans and Ryan Wood, but in reality, when they jump into the car, this race is decided by Brad Schumacher, by Elliott Shute, by Steve Brooks, and by the other drivers in the car. They're the ones that have got to do the heavy lifting today when they take over these cars after the mandatory pit stop halfway through the race. So the pressure is on them to deliver it. If you want to win a title in GT World Challenge, you're going to have to drive that car to the finish line today.
You can hear them warming up those tyres, trying to keep them as warm as possible. You might be thinking, well, they've only just got going. Surely they're up to temp by now, but these Pirellis, they take quite a while to build up that temperature, and that's what makes them such a good race tyre when they finally get up. It makes the racing a lot of fun. So they'll be working these tyres super hard, building as much temp as they possibly can.
15 points, the championship margin between the Arise Racing Ferrari that leads the standings and the Team MPC Audi that is second for Kelso Electrical. 25 points for a race win, 18 points for second, 15 points for third place. Down from there, it's a sort of margin of diminishing returns the further deeper in the field you go. But these two cars have been the pace setters all season long. They had a tyre issue on the Feeney Schumacher car in the opening round of the year at Phillip Island, and that put them on the back foot from the outset. So tough to recover from a DNF. Arise Racing have been super consistent, and at some races they have been the car to beat on car speed, but otherwise it's been very evenly matched. But one DNF, 1-0 score, hugely costly in a championship this close.
Yeah, and that's what usually makes the championship too, is not the good weekends, it's the weekends that aren't going as well, just maximising those sort of weekends, because, you know, most championships, there's always going to be a bad run here or there, so it's about making the absolute most out of it as you possibly can. So, as expected though, the two at the front of the field, the two battling for the championship, they're still working violently on bringing up that tyre temperature. They can see inside the car on their dashes what the pressures are, what the temps are. They'll be looking to build that pressure up as much as possible.
So just talk us through what that feels like behind the wheel.
Yeah, you've obviously got your target temperatures and your target pressures of what you want out of the tyres, and you can get a really good feel of it. You're using the brake mainly to just build up that temperature from the brakes up through the carcass of the tyre, but at the same time you sort of get a feeling out of it by turning left, turning right, building the surface temperature as well, and then getting on the gas as hard as you can out of the corners, using that traction to help build up that tyre pressure as much as you possibly can. So even now you can still see just how hard they're working those tyres as much as they can.
We're building up to a race restart here at Hampton Downs. Final race in a compelling season of GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. And it really has been compelling from the outset. The reason we're behind the control of the BP safety car is a couple of cars stranded down at turn 2. So look, mid-pack, see the nose of the Mercedes-AMG, the blue nose, yellow flash, and then the Audi ducks out, and then that's where the contact is right there.
So what it actually looks like's happened is, as Damon's gone to hit the brakes, he's obviously not got a lot of tyre temperature, and as he slammed the brakes on, gone to go left, it's actually lost the rear end because it's got no temperature, so it slid it sideways, and then as he's gathered it back up, he's bounced off the other Mercedes on the other side. So that's where I think it's all gone wrong, is when the rear end of the car snaps sideways.
And it's definitely got steering damage on that. So the Brad in the Ford Ranger Raptor recovery vehicle will drag that car back to pit lane. If it's only a broken steering arm, they may be able to get that car fixed. That one looks a little bit more final in the case of today's race. Guy of Valmont Racing should send a shout out to Sergio Perez, who's watching on at home, who is usually in this car. He's had a little surgery recently, so he's out of action. So his longtime mate, racing rival and business partner, Marcel Zalua, drafted in this weekend to drive the 55. Rusty?
And Richard, I'm with him now. I promised him a nice positive chat before the start of the race. This is not what we were expecting. You've just watched the replay then. What's your take on things?
Mate, it's pretty disappointing. I mean, we all spent a lot of money to come here and race, and on the first lap in an hour enduro, that's not on. Like, I mean, we're not racing for sheep stations here, and it's unnecessary. I mean, it just ruined the weekend for us. We were building up to this race. George has been driving like a true king, excuse the pun. But yeah, I'm really disappointed for George, disappointed for the team. There's so much effort that goes into this, and to see something like that happen on the first lap, it's just not on.
You can feel the kind of the collective pain for Tagani Motorsport in here when I walked in before. Did he give a sense of what's broken in the car, or what sort of state that it's in?
I think the right rear's broken suspension, looks like, drive shaft or something like that. But the race is over for us, so at least I won't miss my flight home.
Hard luck, thank you.
Thanks.
Greg Russ down in Shannon's pit lane with a very disappointed Marcel Zalua. Awkward moment, opening lap, cars 3 wide. Tough, isn't it, sometimes?
Yeah, it is, and I think it just hurts that bit more when you are an innocent bystander in the situation as well, to be taken out like that out of the race. So it's one of those ones. It's I hate the saying, but you know, sometimes it is motorsport. We've all been there. You get in a situation where you can't physically change the outcome. You can't look back and go, oh, I should have done something different. And those are the ones that certainly hurt.
The hard-working recovery teams here at Hampton Downs completing the recovery of the 2 cars stranded down at turn 2, so we shouldn't be too far away from going back to racing in the season finale of GT World Challenge Australia. If you're unfamiliar with the rules of the category, there is a mandatory pit stop at the halfway point of this race. There will be a driver change. Everyone has to complete the same pit stop time, except the top 3 from yesterday's race, who will take a little bit more time. Got to send a shout out to the collaboration, Andrew, that's been going on behind the scenes. So we're actually situated this weekend up in race control, in the race control building here at Hampton Downs. Brilliant facility, really well appointed. And there's a great collaboration going on between Motorsport New Zealand, who are the governing body for this event, but also Motorsport Australia, who promote and run the sporting side for GT World Challenge Australia and Monochrome GT4. So race director James Taylor, driving standards advisor Craig Baird, who gets to pop home and visit the folks down in Hamilton for the weekend, which is cool. All of the stewards, Scott McGrath, the technical guru, and the list goes on, have all come over from Australia, and there's been a really great collaboration between the Aussie side and the Kiwi side in race control, which is great to see, a bit of trans-Tasman cooperation. We all go motor racing for the same reasons. The rules are slightly different across the Tasman, but it's great to see that work that's gone in between the 2 teams.
Oh, it really is. It's I've been lucky enough to be in race control a lot over events over the years, and you can just sense the vibe when you walk through race control. Everyone's just having a great weekend. Everyone's working together. Everyone's got everyone's back, and simply without them, we would not be here today. If they weren't in that control room running the event for us, we just simply wouldn't have this racing going on. So, you know, it's a massive thank you for them all being part of it.
I am concerned, though, Andrew, that a dangerous precedent has been set early this morning, though, because we arrived and Mrs. Leach the mum of Brendan and Damon rolled in with 4 dozen of unbelievable muffins, and I haven't seen that happen in Motorsport Australia race control before, and all the Aussies were eyes open going, how good is this? We're coming to New Zealand more often. Thank you, Mrs. Leach. It was delicious, but dangerous precedent set.
Yeah, very much so. The Leach brothers, they can drive, and Mama Leach can cook, that's for sure.
And Papa Leach can restore a race car.
Yes,
So
he can.
It's a grand slam there down in Invercargill as we get set to go racing. Here we go. Safety car lights are out on the BMW M performance car. It pulls away into the Shannons pit lane, and we get set for a resumption of play. And it's Brock Feeney who becomes the pace car in the Audi, with Jackson Evans wedged up under that big rear diffuser of the Audi R8 LMS GT3. Ryan Wood is in there too. Jordan Love, Josh Buchan, and Jaden Ojeda. Here we go. We're back underway at Hampton Downs. Into turn 1, a dive down the inside. Jaden Ojeda in the Realtor Mercedes gets one on Josh Buchan in the Zagami Ferrari. That's another one for the Juice. He'll work his way forward in this race, you can bet. He has a huge amount of car speed. Jordan Love looks on the inside of Ryan Wood, couldn't quite get there in the end.
Feeney still warming those tyres up, still trying to build that temperature. You'd think by now they'd be up to temperature, but nothing replaces actually being at race speed, slamming on those brakes at the end of turn 2, building up that heat, using the tyre through here, this big, long, sweeping turn 4 and 5 before they arrive at the inevitable double B. It's blind, it's bumpy, it's a very, very hard corner to get the car through. And then just when you think you've got it all sorted through here, you can see the bumps and attitude on the cars as they drop back down and towards turn 8.
It's been taking the Arise Ferraris a little bit longer to switch themselves on this weekend to generate that peak performance. The Audis get there a little bit quicker in this race, and that's why Jackson Evans feels like he's just clinging on to the back of Brock Feeney at the moment as they head out of the Porsche Dipper and run towards turn 10, which is wide and open, but you hug the inside line as it fires you uphill. It's quite an elevation change up to the start-finish line. A quality leading group of cars and drivers. Behind them, Tony D'Alberto has got a bunch of ground in the Lamborghini. He's up to 7th place. The Wall Racing car he shares with Adrian Dietz. Good start for him, and he's got Johnny Reid behind him.
Yeah, you can certainly sense here already that Brock Feeney is just hammered down. He knows what he needs to achieve. A 15-second gap, that might be a hard ask, especially against someone like Jackson Evans. But he will be head down, trying to open up as big a gap as he possibly can. It'll be interesting once everything sort of settles down over the next lap or two. We'll keep an eye on the lap times. Like that last lap, there was 7/10 for Brock Feeney on that lap there. Obviously, on the first lap, just building into it. But we'll keep an eye on the lap times.
I wonder how that DNF for the OnlyFans Audi affects the team's championship as well, because provisionally coming into this race, I understand there was only 1 point between Team NPC, the Audi squad, and Arise Racing for the team's championship in the Pro-Am class as well. They've got weight in numbers, Team NPC, but they've got one less now because the OnlyFans car has been pushed back into the garage for Renee Gracie and Damon Leach. The 6th drone cam showcases this outstanding venue so well. Feeney out to more than a second now over Jackson Evans, who's just settled and got a little safety zone over Ryan Wood, with Jordan Love in behind and then Jaden Ojeda. Rusty.
They're basically just saying who's going to do the interview. Damon, can I borrow you? These are the tough ones. Just give us your side of the equation and how it played out from your point of view.
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest, Rusty. I mean, at the end of the day, I think I was just a little too optimistic and stuffed up. Like I just shouldn't have been quite that deep in the corner, but I think it was, maybe an awkward little move of a couple of the other cars around us, and I think my front wheel may have touched a rear wheel on one of the other cars, and it just sort of launched the front of our car well off the ground, and then from there, unfortunately, I couldn't slow down or couldn't do anything. So real shame. Feel bad, for the race, to a big hold up in the safety car and that, and just for Renee. Like, I've been super lucky to have the chance to drive with Renee this weekend and been having a lot of fun. So it's a real shame to destroy it at the second corner is a stupid kind of thing to do. So and to ruin a couple of other cars' races too. So it's not the way that I like to go about my racing. But I guess the more races you do, at some point, it doesn't always go your way. So.
admire the honesty, mate. Quickly, what is broken ultimately on the car?
Don't really probably know until they get it up and pull the wheels off, but I think just one of the front steering arms and then a little bit of the bodywork and stuff like that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, nothing too serious, but unfortunately that's our day over for the OnlyFans car.
Thanks for talking to us. Thank you.
Thanks, Rusty.
I think that sums Damon up beautifully. You know, the honesty, the way that it fell. It's he's put his hand up to that one, and you know, he's a hard racer. He's a very, very good racer, and he'll be gutted about that one for sure.
And Renee Gracie's been doing an awesome job this year as well. I was really excited to be stepping up into the pro AM ranks and have that pro alongside. I had a chat to her dad Ray earlier in the week, and he was saying that the problem with driving solo in the AM class is you've got no one but the cars around you to benchmark with. When you've got a pro co-driving, you've got their data, all their overlay, all their information to learn on and to benchmark yourself and improve against. And that was what they were looking for this weekend. And they've got all of qualifying and practice and race one yesterday to do that. So there's no doubt there will have been some gain out of it, but I can sense the frustration there. But full credit to Damon Leach for putting the hand up and owning that one.
This battle still continues on. Jackson Evans sort of just has this under control, doesn't have to defend at the moment, but he is watching the car up front of Brock Feeney start disappearing off into the distance. Not by enough at this stage. We know what's about to happen. There is a 15-second success penalty hanging over that Feeney-Schumacher car, so that's going to bring the game way back under control and completely change it. And you can sense as well from Jackson as well, he'll know that he doesn't need to tear the tyres off and to try and hold on to Brock Feeney there. He just needs to manage what he's got so that he can hand the car over to Elliot Shute so he's got something to fight with later on.
You guys love taking trophies off us in all sorts of various sport, but what would it mean for Jackson to be able to wrap up a title, but not just win the title, but do it here? Such a rare thing to win an Australian championship on Kiwi soil, potentially win one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm sure he'll be stoked about it. He said on the grid, you know, that it's great to be able to come here, be around family, and put on a show, and as well put on a show in such a beautiful car as well. To bring it over here to the championship that he's been running in Australia, to bring it all over here and showcase what he's able to do, and that's the same with Ryan as well. He's on home soil, is making the most of it, and I know he'll be having a lot of fun with Steve Brooks. Steve is, let's just say, a personality at the best of times. I've been lucky enough to do a fair bit of racing with Steve Brooks as well, and he just loves his racing. There's as many laughs as laps that you do around this place.
He's a great personality. He's great fun to be around. I've been fortunate enough to stay at the same hotel as them this week. We all get together of an evening on the waters, I might add. They've been very responsible, and I did note that last night Ryan Wood was properly sent to bed by his manager, 1G Murphy, as well. The time to go and get some shut-eye, Ryan. You've got a busy day tomorrow. It's a great vibe. They've had a really good season. They started talking at the start of the year about maybe Wolfbrook coming on, I think, and supporting Ryan as a sponsor. And Brooksy turned around and said, well, why don't you just come and drive my Audi with me all season long? And it's turned into a beautiful friendship, as they say. Yeah,
well, Steve has actually been one of Ryan's big supporters for a while now, yeah. And to be honest, and I'm sure Ryan would say this as well, without Steve's support in the early days, and not only Steve's, obviously Ryan's had some great backing by the Allied Petroleum crew as well. He's had a lot of backing from guys like that. So without Steve and without all the backers that Ryan's had, he simply wouldn't be where he is today. So for Ryan to be able to repay that and go racing with Steve and have a bit of fun with him as well. But at the same time, as Ryan did say, he said he's cost Steve a bit of money this year, tearing a bit of gear up. So hopefully that's the end of that.
He was very open about that as well, which I appreciated. But yeah, there's been a little bit of damage this year, and Audi R8 parts don't come supermarket cheap, let's say.
Yeah, but that's Steve for you. He loves a laugh about it. He'll take Ryan to town over that one about the parts that he's torn up. Was for a bit of a laugh for sure.
Something that there'll be an invoice when Ryan wins a championship, won't there? There'll be a sneaky little invoice slide through going, okay, mate, you've delivered now. You can pay me back for that front wing off an R8. This is the battle for second and third place in Race 1 GT World Challenge Australia, Audi versus Ferrari. Brock Feeney has edged out 3.4 seconds now to the good for Team MPC. Brad Schumacher to jump in that car for the back half of the race. 15 points behind in the championship. The maths doesn't work for them right now. They'd have to have something go wrong with the 26 car, because if they finish second in this race, that will be enough to seal the championship for Arise Racing. They won it last year with Chaz Mostert and Liam Talbot. Chaz decided to hang up the GT3 boots for the time being. Liam moved across to Valente Rosso. So this team, which came together last year in the form of Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute, have stepped up to the mark this season, and they have delivered an exceptional season so far. How cool is that from the 6th drone cam?
What a great shot that is. Gives you an idea of the speed that they're carrying down towards turn 2 there. We went down on Friday for a bit of a look down there, and I tell you what, it is a spectacle seeing these GT3 cars at full flight and hard on the brakes down and towards turn 2. There's a lot going on in these cars. You've got the massive aero, you've got the way that they stop, the way that they turn. There's a lot of load going on, so they're a great car to drive, and these boys are absolutely loving it.
Can you articulate what it feels like to drive one of these cars, what that aero downforce they've got especially feels like?
There's one word that instantly comes to mind. They're a very inspiring car. You jump in them sort of, when you first get into them, you're a bit intimidated with what's going on with them and how much is involved, but as soon as you get going, the car just keeps asking you for more, because it's got such a massive tyre on it. It does everything it should. It brakes properly, it turns properly, and then you've got all the electronic stability control as well, the electronic traction control, and then also the ABS as well, the way they work for you. It's like anything though, you know, you get to a point when you drive these, but when you start looking for the last little bit of time out of them, they start getting pretty hairy, and you've got to work them pretty hard and focus on things like you're coming into turn 1 there. These guys will be just really focusing on getting off that brake, carrying the speed, getting on the gas as early as possible, and then you've got all that aero load added into it as well. But when you're behind someone like that, like what Ryan Wood is here, it makes it harder. You get a little bit of understeer as you're trying to turn in. So there's so much going on in these cars, but they're a great car to drive as you see Ryan Wood run wide.
He just set that car's quickest lap of the race, 1 minute 30.5, chasing Jackson Evans, but bowled it wide down there at turn 2, as seen on the 6th drone cam. Brock Feeney last time by 30.1. He has been relentlessly quick in the low 30s. The M-class pit stops have started, so the 111 racing car of Darren Curry, who is behind the wheel, will jump out. Axel Donaldson will jump in. These two have been doing a huge amount of endurance racing this year. They have been to all corners. They tackled the Dubai 24-hour in their Mercedes. They've been racing over in Europe. They've been to Spa, lots of 24-hour series races, living the dream, going around the world, racing Enduros, and absolutely loving it too, by the way.
That sounds like a great year of racing to me, doing some of those top-level races, and that's what it's about. You know, these guys are just absolutely loving their racing. Great to see them being part of it, and yeah, every lap you do, you just get better too.
So the Pro-Am cars will pit after the Am cars. They get 5 minutes, and then the Pro-Am cars will barrel into pit lane. At the front of the car with hand on his headset is Lee Stimation, who's the engineer down here, very experienced guy. And they'll get the cue to get that car back into the lane. So 76 seconds from the 40k an hour control line at the start of Shannon's pit lane. It's very tight pit lane entry here as well. That chicane as you come in, it's like there's 2 opportunities to get it wrong there. One, you can get done for speeding pretty easily, and the other is that chicane's pretty perilous.
Well, it's so much so in the Mercedes AMG GT3, it's full lock to full lock, and you've sort of got to watch your right-hand side and your left-hand side as you come in, because it is just that tight, and the bonnets on those cars are so long, you're sort of going, am I going to get through? Am I going to get through? So just when you think it's all under control, you've then got to get the car into pit lane. So it's probably one of the hardest pit lanes to get into, but these guys doing a great job of that, and they'll switch over drivers, and with 28 minutes remaining.
So Ben Schutz will jump out of the Black Wolf Motorsport car, and Shane Woodman will jump in. They've got Phil Keed, very experienced supercars engineer, looking after their setup today. They battled yesterday, tyre pressures too high. I spoke to Ben Schutz last night, said it made the car really challenging to drive. They bled them down in the pit stop. It still wasn't great in the back half of the race, and they were also carrying a little bit of damage on the right front corner after contact, so had to get their 100-mile-an-hour tape up to get the front of this orange Mercedes AMG back together. You can see it covering the headlight there. The headlight had actually dropped down behind that front guard there and was flapping about, so they had a bit of work to do to get it back out there. They were looking for a better performance today, and they were running in 2nd place in the AM class, heading into this final race of the season. And it's not far away until the pit stop window opens for the Pro-Am cars. You can tell that's about to happen because all of a sudden the timing screen's just been energised. Andrew, Brock Feeney last time around 30.0, that car's best lap of the race. Jackson Evans 30.3, same story, 30.3 for Ryan Wood, 30.7 for Jordan Love, all in the low 1 minute 30s, pressing on. So they're all trying to get the most out of it before they peel off into pit lane. Get the most out of your pro driver before you put the AM in for the back half of the race.
Yeah, that's the thing. The team will be on the radios to them, letting them know how much longer there is to go before they are going to hand over to the other driver. So they'll be getting as much as they possibly can out of the cars. And that gap's growing out to 5.5 seconds. Still need another 10 seconds. That is a lot of time to find to be able to be ahead of Jackson Evans there.
So on corrected times at this point, assuming all the pit stops go to plan and the margins on track stay the same, you'll expect Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute to assume the race lead. And I would imagine that Jordan Love and Steve Wyatt are going to end up in second position. They have no pit stop compensation time either. Are they coming this lap? No, they're not yet. They'll push it right to the very end of this 5-minute window to get the most out of these super quick pro drivers.
Yeah, you do run the risk if there's a safety car getting lost in that sort of situation, but the race is pretty settled at this stage, so it's worth that risk to maximise that drive time of the pro driver to get as much as you can out of them.
So Brock Feeney's pit stop to hand over to Brad Schumacher will be 15 seconds longer than Jackson Evans. It's 15 seconds down to Tony D'Alberto in 7th place. Adam DeBore briefing his crew at Arise Racing to make sure they execute this pit stop to absolute perfection. They need to get this right. They cannot afford to drop this race and drop some points and open the door for the Audi team to steal the championship away from them.
That is one of the most nerve-wracking parts as a driver, not being in the car, but standing in pit lane with all your gear on. At least the stop here, they've got a bit of time to make sure they're perfectly comfortable in the car before they take off. But knowing that there's a live race going on, you've got to jump in the car, you've got to deliver in this situation. It's quite a feeling standing there waiting for your car to roll down the lane.
Really cool shot. Elliott Shute, the West Aussie, who's graduated up through One Mate Radical Racing, just a handshake with some of the boys down there on the 26 crew, just to get them fired up for this stop when he jumps behind the wheel. He's been a great story, and his progression as a racing driver came from a driver search program. Oh, they thought about it for Tagani Autosport, the Realtor car, but they've elected to keep Jaden Ojeda out for one more lap. Sagami Autosport are pitting now in their Ferrari, so Josh Buchan is in the lane and will hand over to Cameron Campbell. But at least one more time by for the pro cars. Ryan Wood has consistently been setting that car's best lap tucked up behind Jackson Evans, so the Audi working really well in dirty air at the moment. Plenty of car speed.
So that's obviously just right on the cut point to see Josh Buchan come in there, because you can see the cars in front carry on. That's because they have enough time to get back around within the window. But further down from Buchan onwards is obviously where they realise, no, we're not going to make the cut. We need to box this lap. So if you're wondering why some are out, some have come in, even though trying to maximise that time, and it's right on the cusp of that driver time. See, and Peterson jump out of the car, another Kiwi. Good to have him part of the field this weekend as Tony D'Alberto jumps out of the car too.
Yeah, and it's been running with Shane Smolin, who'll take over the 96 car. They've had some support, the Mach 1 engineering team from Tagani Autosport, who've been helping with some of the engineering, but the Mach 1 guys have been running that car. So great to see the Kiwi GT teams in action. IMS Racing, of course, with Sam Fillmore and Johnny Reid, Audi R8 too. This is Wall Racing, Sydney-based squad. Say good day to David Wall, who's back home in Sydney watching on. Wally raced midway through the year at the Le Mans 24-hour in the Ford Mustang Cup. Had quite a big crash there, unfortunately. Hurt the back a little bit, so he's still on home duties right now, but he'll be cheering his boys on for a good result in that stunning Lamborghini, a car in which you're very familiar. The leaders are in the lane. So Brock Feeney brings car 888 down to Audi Sport Customer Racing Australia, and a little bit further down the lane, Jackson Evans will stop outside of Arise Racing, and the task at hand now gets handed over to Brad Schumacher and to Elliott Shute. This is the key moment in the race. This is how it all plays out from here. All the leaders are in the lane. There's going to be some overlap. Paul Lucchini will be at speed when he's out in the Realtor car. And also watch out for Cameron Campbell, who was only 18 seconds off the race lead when this pit stop sequence started. Was that working side tyres going on the Arise Ferrari there?
Yes, putting some fresh tyres on the working side of the car. It's a lot of the teams talking about whether or not they should do it or not, just because how long it takes. You know, normally you always want a fresh tyre as a driver, but with this Pirelli tyre in the way, it takes a little bit of time to come up to temperature. They've got to work out whether the time loss over the laps on the cold tyre is worth it or not.
Turbocharged Ferrari bursts back into life. He gets the call, and away he goes in the race lead. Very close to the pit wall there on the exit. Wow, Elliott Shute. It almost ended in pit lane. Just squeaked out at pit exit. Behind it, there's Ojeda. There's Steve Wyatt, and there is Brad Schumacher. So that will be for the net race lead. Schumacher needs to pounce, and he needs to pounce now.
Oh, that was super close to that pit wall on the exit there. And that's the thing as a driver, you're still getting yourself sorted, getting comfortable in the car. So whether or not he looked down and back up, and didn't realise how close he was, but got away with it. See Steve Brooks in behind the wheel now. There's Wyatt as well. They're pushing on there, so straight back into the battle.
So getting up to speed on cooler Pirelli tyres. Cold if you're Elliott Shute, at least on the working side of the car. Back out on the racetrack, getting back up to pressure. So we'll let the timing come through and they'll cleanse. Let's grab another look at this on the Wade replay. Watch on the right-hand side. Oh, yeah. Do you know how when you go and park your car at the supermarket and you feel like it's really tight with that big truck that's parked in the bay next to you? That's like that.
Yep, very much so. As we see Sam Fillmore assume the position, back into making a few moves around turn 8 and 9. Getting stuck in.
It's a carbon copy yesterday, isn't it? He loves those two corners. He made all the moves at the Porsche Dipper, and then he got to one and thought, no, I don't want to wait for that corner. I'll go at turn 8 instead. Across the line goes Elliott Shute. He will be the cleansed race leader with 20 minutes to go. Brad Schumacher's up to second. The margin, 5.4 seconds. Third will be Paul Lucitti in the Realtor Mercedes. Fourth is Steve Brooks in the Wolfbrook Racing Audi. Fifth is Stephen Wyatt in the Arise Racing Ferrari. Sam Fillmore is sixth. Cameron Campbell is seventh. Shane Smollen is eighth. Then it will be Liam Talbot in the number 1 Aston Martin, who will be going very, very quickly in the back half of this race. Now he's taken over from Josh Hunt, but doesn't have track position. He's 33 seconds behind the lead. But the Brisbane-based driver will do everything he can to try and close that margin down. Final stages of the race. So now it's up to Brad Schumacher. Can he chase down Elliott Shute? He'll need a little bit more to happen to claim a title, but all they can do is win the race, and then the rest will take care of itself. That's the equation for car 888 today.
Yeah, it's around 4th or 5th the Ferrari has got to finish, and for Feeney and Schumacher to win the race is what the equation is for that one. So really something's got to go dramatically wrong from this point of view, but Brad Schumacher, he'll be head down. We saw how fast he was in qualifying yesterday morning, super quick, and he'll be head down, doing all he can to try and catch up. Rusty?
I just want to, Andrew, highlight something both you boys picked up on during the course of the commentary there at Arise Racing when those stops were happening. So yes, they have changed tyres down the working side on both of those cars. I've had a word with Jordan Love, who's just confirmed that for me, and they actually tried that in yesterday's race, and they were worried about whether that feeling, that imbalance by having fresher rubber down one side versus the other side of the car might be a little unnerving for the drivers jumping in now, but yesterday confirmed for them that it was the right way to go. And on the flip side, I've wandered past Melbourne Performance Centre, no changes to either of those Audis, either the Wolfbrook entry or the Kelso electrical entry. They just said send it to the end of the race.
Why change something if it's working, eh?
Yeah, well, and that comes back to sort of that point that I touched on earlier about the fact that do you put the new tyres on the working side, spend 3, 4, 5 laps getting them up to temperature, losing all that lap time, or do you just go a tyre that's already hot, bang out some quick laps from the word go? So it's that balance, and you know the tyres are obviously not going to be as good for the guys that didn't change tyres at the end of the race, but whether or not it's worth that balance change and to get the most out of the car now or later on in the race.
Brad Schumacher is hauling in the race leader. The margin is 3.8 seconds, but it's closer than that now. So there will be a battle for the lead before this one is out. Check the lap times as they come across the line. Elliott Chute in the Arise Racing Ferrari 296 GT3 will flash across the start-finish line with a 1 minute 33.5 versus a 1 minute 31.4 for Brad Schumacher. He is 1.9 seconds quicker last time by, and the gap is now 1.7. He is flying. Steve Brooks at 33.0, so much closer to the pace of Elliott Chute. And to your point before, Andrew Waite, the margin, or the maths in this one are that if the Audi wins, the Arise Racing car can finish 4th, and they would still win the Pro-Am Championship by 3 points. It's not comfortable at 3 points, I'd like to add.
No, that is not a comfortable margin, but the situation they're in at the moment, it's pretty plain sailing there for Elliott Chute to just bring it home. I can imagine he's not going to put up too much of a fight once Brad Schumacher gets to him. It'll more or less be an indicator, there you go, mate, I've got my job I need to do, you've got your job, and that's the way I'm sure we'll see it go here.
And the brain power down there at Arise Racing in both teams, to be fair, but Adam de Borre calling the engineering shots down there at the Ferrari team. I mean, he's engineered Bathurst victories before, so he gets it. He knows the big picture stuff, and he knows how to coach the driver through it. So he'll be on the radio talking to his charge going, all right, mate, this is what you got to do. Don't worry about them. Let them go. If you finish second, it's all good.
Yeah, and no driver likes letting someone else, through and to win a race. But when it's bigger picture, when we're talking the championship on the line and it's between these two, you don't need to make it awkward. You just need to get the car home. Oh, speaking of awkward, poor Sam Fillmore and White there as well. That was pretty hefty contact, actually, but it looked like it was in the door. So I don't know if it actually ended up doing any damage, but there was some proper contact.
Extremely awkward, you're right. That was the battle for 7th and 8th position, I think, on the road at the time. Oh, and it stopped, and it's got broken steering, much like the car that shares the same garage with it this weekend. The left front wheel pointing in the wrong direction after quite heavy contact for Sam Fillmore. And does this bring out another safety car with 15 minutes to go?
I would say we will see the safety car. It's not going to change too much in the complexion of the race, but all it does is it creates a few more problems that can arise for Elliott Chute. When you close everyone else up, it's not as clean as just letting Brad Schumacher go. You've got other cars now in behind you as well, so it just adds a little bit more risk for these guys as we clock down with just under 15 minutes to go.
For the second time today, the BMW M safety car is on the racetrack in the final race in GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Another little twist in the tale of what's been a remarkable story that stretched across Australia from the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, Sydney Motorsport Park, Queensland Raceway, the Bend Motorsport Park in South Australia, and Sandown in the pouring rain in June. Brings us here to Hampton Downs for a championship showdown. To the Shannons pit lane and Greg Rust.
I just wanted into international motorsport there a moment ago, and Nick Williamson did the, I guess you could call it the international sign, Richard Craill, for broken steering. So 2 hands in the air, fast movement of the hands suggesting there's no steering. So I think that confirms what you boys question marked there before.
International motorsport sign language, Rusty. Thank you. Shame for IMS. They've been having a cracking weekend, and they've been very proud about how competitive they've been against the Aussie teams as well, benchmarking themselves against the best GT teams in the region. So there's the forlorn sight of the Alliance Services Audi parked on driver's right on the run into the Porsche dipper. Big drop off down the side of the road there. Gathered together a whole bunch of the cars representing the Repco Next Gen NZ Championship earlier in the weekend, and chocks needed to stop the cars rolling down the hill there when they were all lined up. Great bit of road, and very good to watch. You can get very close to the cars on the outside there as they flash in up over the hill, and then heavy braking down towards the apex. Lyle Williamson centre of screen there, the founder of International Motorsport, talking to Johnny Reid, who's giving some more race car driver semaphore to explain what went on between those two cars.
So just building a bit of a picture here as well with what we've got unfolding now. The safety cars come out and all the cars are bunched up together. So if Brad Schumacher does clear Elliott Chute, yesterday Steve Brooks was about half a second quicker than Elliott Chute over the race throughout his run. So Brooks has got pace as well to be able to clear him. So that, in theory, puts him down battling towards that that third position, but it's still not enough. But, you know, as we said, it takes it from being a comfortable situation for the Arise guys to now there's a little bit more on the table, a little bit more to think about.
No, it makes it really uncomfortable, let's be honest, for them. I think for the Ferrari team, the pressure is on, and this will be a massive drive from Elliott Chute, who hasn't found himself in this position in his career yet. He was in contention for the Radical Cup title, but ultimately finished on the podium there for the Arise team, their Radical branch, based out of Wanneroo Raceway over in the west in Perth. Definitely broken steering on that. They were steering by boot there, our volunteer officials, trying to get that car pulled straight. You have to work out an area to put this car, because I'm not sure it drives back to pit lane with the steering as broken as it is.
Kiwis, Audis and broken steering. Not a good combo today.
Oh, it's not. A price check on a steering rack for an Audi R8 is in New Zealand at the moment. Go and see the Giltrap group. They'll help you out. This is another look at the reason why we're under control of the safety car. Sam Fillmore down the inside, and it hit square on that wheel, didn't it? So all the shock went through the steering rack and steering components on the left front corner.
Yep, just broke that steering. So Sam was on the inside there, side by side at the point of contact. So yeah, maybe the Ferrari on the outside didn't quite see him coming.
So under the control of the safety car, we wait to see how this plays out. This also brings Liam Talbot into the mix as well in the Aston Martin. So this is a catch-up car for him. It's dragged him more than 30 seconds back towards the leading group. So a reset in GT World Challenge Australia. Still working on how we get this Audi back to pit lane, or at least out of harm's way, so play can resume. That's Brad in the race suit there. He's the recovery chief for the SpeedSeries, the tour that follows all of Australia's key racetracks over 6 rounds over the course of the year, and it's been a great collaboration between their organisers and the Next Gen NZ Championship to get this round together. This is once again why we're behind the control of the safety car.
Yeah, just that contact on the right front, broke the steering on the left-hand side for Sam Fillmore, and I think it's all well and good, and you hit down to the next corner, hit the brakes, and that's when you realise especially that nothing's home in the front end, and that's where he sailed on forward into the gravel trap. The longer under the safety car, this is working out perfectly for the Arise team leading the race as they get the car back on the flat deck. Recovery crews working super hard to get this car back off the track, and hopefully we may get a bit of a restart at the end of this lap. The car's now on the flat deck, they'll be putting it back up, but yeah, only 9 minutes remaining.
So just crunching some numbers here, the driver I think this safety car probably benefits the most is Liam Talbot, who in that Valente Rosso Shannons Aston Martin is now 8th in car number 1, and he was more than 30 seconds behind after the pit stop in a car that showed yesterday it is not only capable of leading the race, is capable of smashing the race. He was miles out in front before their mandatory pit stop yesterday. So while he doesn't have track position, the 30 seconds has disappeared, and he's now right in the queue with less experienced drivers around him. Cameron Campbell, Steve White, Paul Lucchini don't have the level of driving experience that Liam Talbot has. So interested to see how far forward he can go in this one. Maybe pass some cars and get themselves up the order. And then there's the battle for Elliott Chute, who will have Brad Schumacher right locked underneath the rear wing of the Arise Racing Audi. But Steve Brooks, as you touched on earlier, Andrew Waite, has been very speedy in the Wolfbrook car. So he's going to be aggressively trying to work his way forward. Remember, there's a little carrot on the edge of the stick there for Brooksy because they haven't won a race this season. He would very much like to grab one before the year is out. They have been on the podium 4 times this year without getting the #1 trophy. The side plot to that is how aggressive is he on his mate Brad Schumacher, who's fighting for a championship. So there's a 50-50 in there somewhere, and it's going to take some navigating, I think, from these two.
It is. I think it comes back to that bigger picture within the team as well. So whether or not that comes into play, but yeah, I think the ones to watch at this restart, the disruptors that can change this championship, is if we see Lem Talbot, how quickly he can get through the field, and then also Smolin as well. He was very quick yesterday, so if they can get through the field quick enough, they're the ones that can, you know, have a chance to challenge Shoot. But, you know, Shoot's doing a fantastic job, and he was very quick yesterday as well, so, you know, it's got to be a lot go wrong for him to fall that far back. But and these are the things that we're looking at, and this is the things that the teams down in the garages will be looking at too. Right, what are our risks? What do we got to weigh out? What do we got to think about? But as this time ticks down, with now only just over 6 minutes remaining, it's certainly ticking down very, very quickly, and anything further down than 3rd or 4th place is getting pretty hard.
Still pretty early over in Perth. They're a long way behind the time zone in this part of the world, so they'll be having their morning coffee on a Sunday over there in the west, in that great city on the Swan River, looking towards their team who's leading and their driver who's leading this race and trying to win a championship for Arise Racing. I think we're going to get one more lap behind the BMW M safety car, which I don't know if that's a relief or a curse for Elliott Shute. I don't know if we'd want more safety car or just to get this thing back to green and go back to racing. How's the truck going to go navigating? That pit entry is extremely tight.
Oh, I reckon he's done that
nice
before.
Nice work, he has. Disappointing for IMS, but they've strutted their stuff, haven't they, this weekend?
Yeah, they've shown the world-class team that they are. They came here this weekend and have certainly been very, very fast between both Johnny and Sam, so they can go away from this one, heads held high. Obviously not the result they wanted, but you know, they came here and showed what they've got against the Australians.
They've had success as well at the Bathurst 12-hour running cars over there, which has been great to see. I'd love to see more of Nick and his boys and girls over in Australia, ideally in this championship with their Audi R8s. They've been such a good squad. The word from race director to the stars, James Taylor, who calls the shots for the Repco Supercars Championship as well. So they've got the best of the best in to run this championship. He's just told us, tap on the shoulder, that there will be one lap to go. It's the forlorn sight of the Audi going back down to Team IMS. The only upside is they don't have to clean the car, fix it to get it back in a shipping container, which these teams have to do tonight. There's pressure washing times booked and everything to get the cars all spotless to get them back into Oz through customs. So they can prepare. Some of these teams will be racing the Bathurst 12-hour in mid-February now. And then other teams that aren't there will be preparing for the next season of GT World Challenge Australia, which will start early next year for the opening round of the Shannons Speed Series. All right, just over 4 minutes to go. Andrew Waite, how does this one play out?
That time ticks down very quickly, doesn't it, under safety car? It certainly changes the complexity of the race and how we see it, but these Pirelli tyres will certainly have a bit of temperature out of them now, as we've been under safety car for a little while. So Elliott Shute has one job at hand: keep it smooth, keep it consistent, hit his marks. He has a championship on the line, currently in the lead of the race, and the hard charging Brad Schumacher in behind him. He knows what he's got to do to be able to take this championship out. So yeah, I reckon there might be a little bit to unfold here.
I'm still here for the subplot of the fact that Car 88 hasn't won yet this year, and they really would love to win this season. The question is, does it come at the expense of Steve Brooks' good mate Brad Schumacher? They shared a car a week ago in an endurance race on the South Island. Oh, I don't know. There's so many permutations to play out. The BMW M safety car pulls away from this GT World Challenge Australia field. There's just over 3 minutes to go to decide a champion for season 2025. With Kiwi Jackson Evans watching on from the Arise Racing bunker at the very end of pit lane, Elliott Shute will bring the Ferrari 296 GT3 back to green. He's picked an early go point by the looks of it. We're back to green flag conditions at Hampton Downs, racing again with under 3 minutes on the clock.
There's a nice jump by Elliott Shute there to gain a little bit of an advantage down into turn 1, but he's run slightly wide, just got it back down towards the apex. But I am sure Brad Schumacher is going to fire it up the inside if he gets the opportunity, and Elliott Shute covers his position down into turn number 2.
The Ferrari can afford to finish second. It cannot afford to have a drama and finish lower than 4th. That would be a championship-changing moment. Schumacher around the outside, sweeps around the Ferrari. They'll go wheel to wheel now into the right-hander that follows, and the Audi's in front.
That is a sign of someone that wants to try and take this championship away. You never see passes around the outside of turn 3 like that as Brad Schumacher fires it off the road. As Elliott Shute going to go around the outside.
Oh, and the double B's at the top of the hill. Awkward on the outside there. Cannot afford to make a mistake. Great racecraft. Shute drops a couple of wheels off. Schumacher holds on. Brooksy looking racy behind. Not done yet either. Schumacher struggling. I think being out wide, he got some marbles and some pick up on the tyres perhaps. Struggling to get the Kelso out. He turned, and Elliott Shute is not giving this one up yet.
Elliott Shute sitting there in second place. MPC cars in front and behind in the mirrors. He is in the position that is going to wrap the championship up.
There's a big battle behind as well. Paul Lucchetti under pressure from Stephen White and Cameron Campbell in his second ever GT3 race. His first was yesterday. You can see the front of the field. They're having a really good weekend down at the Zagami team in that purple and black Ferrari. 1 minute and 10 to go. Now it's up to Steve Brooks. Schumacher with a little bit of breathing room. Third place is okay for Elliott Shute. Doesn't want to fall any lower than that though. It gets really nervous. Right now it's 9 points to the good for the Arise Racing Ferrari. Liam Talbot back with shot in the Aston Martin, slices up the inside of Cameron Campbell. We thought he might be coming towards the front. That's the first of the moves.
Yep, he is pushing on, making his way through up into 6th position. As you can see, he's looking left, looking right. He's going to be able to tuck up the inside. It's a hard place to pass there. Sort of tightens up on itself on the exit there, that corner, up into the double B. Another place where it's hard to pass initially. And even up in the middle there, it looks easy from here, but it's really blind and bumpy as we were talking about earlier. As Steve Brooks looks to the outside, he's going to try the switch back to get back to the other side.
Right now, Arise Racing could be cheering on Stephen Wyatt because he's a bit of a buffer. That's the sister car to the 26 that's fighting for the championship. They would love for him to stay right where he is, thank you very much, and not let anyone else past. Elliott Shute, though, driving superbly, holds on. Down the inside at turn 10 goes Stephen Brooks. There's no room there.
Had a little bit of a look, wasn't quite able to make it work, and that allows Elliott Shute to get a bit of a gap as they head up over the main straight.
There should be 1 lap to go this time by. The clock has stopped. We'll get confirmation of that from race control. 1 lap remaining in a GT World Challenge Australia dogfight between Audi and Ferrari. There's Jackson Evans. He's 3.8 Ks away from winning a championship on home soil. It would be his first since he won the 2018 Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship. Hugely credentialed driver, out of a drive in supercars for next year. Undoubtedly will end up in an enduro seat somewhere. Has to, surely. He's too good. But right now looking to win a GT title. Here's Talbot. Here's Talbot with the over-under. He'll squeeze up the inside of Stephen Wyatt in the second Arise Ferrari. But that's a tough corner to make a move.
Yeah, makes it awkward, but he's got up the inside into the double B. Another position, but being final lap, he's not going to have enough time to make it any further up the field. As that gap between Steve Brooks and Elliott Shute sort of settles down at the moment, being this last lap of the race. So Elliott Shute, he can breathe a bit from here. All he needs to do is hit his marks on these last couple of corners, and he is close to taking home a championship with Jackson Evans.
What a drive, and under searing pressure from some of the best AM drivers going around. Elliott Shute is going to do the business. Well, coming into the weekend, Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher said they just had to win. They had to win it all, and they've done that. 2 from 2 for the Kelso Electrical team. They sweep the GT International at Hampton Downs, but your champions for 2025 are Elliott Shute and Jackson Evans, who hold on to claim the GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS title for Ferrari and for Arise Racing.
Yeah, great job by Elliott Shute there to wrap that up under all that pressure to bring it home and become the champion.
Unofficially 9 points will be the margin at the end. It was almost 25 coming into the weekend. So it's been whittled away and whittled away. Honestly, it's the first time this season they probably haven't had the fastest car all weekend long. At various points in every given round, they've had a car capable of winning races on outright speed. They've just lacked a tenth or two this weekend, but they preserved, they delivered as champion teams do, and they will win the title. But Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher threw everything they possibly could at it. Couldn't have asked for more. 2 pole positions, 2 race wins. It's the first perfect score of the season in GT World Challenge. So if you're going to battle for a championship, that's how you do it.
There's no better way. They can come away from this weekend knowing that they did everything they possibly could to wrap up that championship, but didn't quite manage to make it happen.
Darren Curry and Axel Donaldson win the AM class in 10th outright in front of Ben Schutz and Shane Woodman too. The 2 Mercs coming home line astern, in fact, just 0.4 of a second between them as they cross the line. On a stunning day at Hampton Downs for the Alliance Services Hampton Downs GT International GT World Challengers crossed the Tasman to put on a championship showdown, and it delivered in the end between Audi and Ferrari. A feisty start as always, and Brock Feeney got his head down and his Audi up, and he drove away early. This was an awkward moment. Look for the OnlyFans Audi in the middle of shot, squeezed between a couple of Mercs, and that was 2 cars out on lap 1.
Yeah, bit of a shame for those guys to start the race like that. And from that moment onwards, Brock Feeney put his head down, built up a bit of a buffer, which went up to 5 seconds in the end, before the round of pit stop started.
Yeah, Schumacher was on the move, so too was Steve Brooks in the Woolbrook car, making some moves. Awkward contact there, Sam Fillmore down the inside of Steve Wyatt, who ultimately got home in 7th position. The IMS racing car out of the race. That set up a 3-minute fight to the flag. And Elliott Shute was leading, and we knew that Brad Schumacher was going to go. He did it aggressively too. There was a great sequence of racing between them through turn 2, then turn 3, and the double Bs as well. And they went wheel to wheel. And just as he got the lead, he dropped it, Brad Schumacher. For a moment, it looked like Elliott Shute was going to get it back. And this was awesome respect given between the two of them.
That's a word I was just about to use, respect between the two of them. As first and second in the championship, crossed the line, second and first.
Chucked everything at it, Team MPC and the Kelso Electrical Squad, and I know the city of Bathurst in New South Wales will be thrilled about what this team has delivered for them. Brad Schumacher lives at the end of Pitt Straight at Mount Panorama, and while they couldn't quite get to a championship today, they've swept the weekend in crushing style. P2 was enough in the end for Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute.
Just got to remember, when you put that championship aside, they had that 15-second success penalty hanging over them as well. So to be able to clean sweep a weekend, and that's why it's so difficult in this championship to be able to do that, because when you win the first race, you've got that extra 15 seconds you got to suck up. But those boys got it done to take the win.
So Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute swept the weekend at Sydney Motorsport Park, where the Ferrari was the dominant car. It was an outstanding performance there. So they back that up with the Audi side of the equation here at Hampton Downs. That's Lee Burnley, who's one of the co-owners at Melbourne Performance Centre, which is the team behind the Audi Sport Team MPC squad. And a good debrief there with the engineering team at MPC. Great drive from Brad Schumacher. He has been on it this weekend.
Yep, he certainly has. He's been more or less unstoppable, hasn't he, with just the speed. But you could just sense how much he wanted that championship, and I think that's what helped him throughout the weekend provide the results that he's had, because he just so badly wanted to try and wrap that championship up. And yeah, he can leave here head held high, knowing he did all he could to try and wrap it up. It was a pretty outstanding drive by not only him, but Brock Feeney as well.
It was a DNF early in the season that ultimately cost them, because in a year where you only get you get 2 or 3 contenders and that's it, and that they're the ones fighting for the title, a DNF can prove incredibly costly, and that was the case for this team early on. Still, they fought hard right to the bitter end. To the Allied Petroleum victory lane, we find Brock Feeney, Brad Schumacher, and they're speaking to Greg Rust.
The words from Richard Craill just then were, "You fought until the bitter end." You gave us a little bit of a heart stopper there toward the end too.
Yeah, it was odd because I had a little bit of pickup on my front tyres just after swerving down the straight, and yeah, dipped into that right hand before the double Bs, and it just understeered off the track. I was shitting myself as much as you guys were in the commentary box, but no, had good pace. Was able to get past Elliott real quick there after the safety red car restart, get that out, and yeah, brought it back in first place. So double pole, double win down here in New Zealand. The New Zealand champagne's going to taste really nice.
You couldn't have asked more from the bloke beside you throughout the course of this season, could you?
Oh man, Brock did an absolutely mega job, like masterclass performance. It's unbelievable how quick he's been down here this weekend. And yeah, it's just been the perfect weekend. It's going to go down in history as one of my best racing weekends, that's for sure.
That's quite a statement, mate. I mean, you've brought a lot to the table here too, and we've had the thrill of seeing you put that in action in GT racing.
Yeah, thanks, Rusty. Yeah, look, we knew what we had to do this weekend. We had to come here, win both races, and yeah, unfortunately for them, but Elliott went on the yellow at the restart. So that's noted with the stewards. I think that's going to fall in our favour and possibly the championship as well. So there's a lot still to play out. But for us, we knew we had to win both races and something go wrong for them. And yeah, they've made a mistake. So it's up with the stewards at the moment. Looking forward to seeing what the result is. And we might have stole a championship off them at the end.
Okay, we'll wait with bated breath. Thank you very much to the both of you. I think we'll get into interviews, if we can, with our top AM place drivers here. So if we could ask Darren Curry and Grant Donaldson to come across before we do the podium. Where's Darren and Grant? Come on over. Are they around here, boys? I'm in wrangle mode here now. Just 1 second. Sorry, team. Darren and Grant, can we get you guys to come on over here? We need you in interview mode, if we can. Meantime, they're doing some photos, as they should be, at MPC. We celebrate, of course, with GT World Challenge Australia, both our AM and Pro-Am drivers. What? Hello, team. Hello. Congratulations. What? Tell me, is there a spelling error there? What is going on?
Axel's my nickname, so everyone calls me that.
Hey, great weekend here at Hampton Downs for you both. You look like you've earned that.
Yeah, no, it was really tough out there, actually, and DC did a hell of a job for a change. No, he did really well, drove the wheels off it, and it was a shame we only got one other AM here this weekend, but the boys were really hard at it. When the safety car was coming to us, doing 33s, and then the safety car came, and the tyres, the front tyres started to get a little bit, so pushed, and then we got him over the start line in the last couple of laps, and then we had Dietz in front of us in the Lambo, and he was a bit all over the shop, so I couldn't get past him. But other than that, it was a great weekend and a hell of facilities, that's for sure.
Darren, have you enjoyed it as much by the sounds of things you have?
Mate, it's great. It's been a good weekend. My last weekend in the car with this guy, so it was good to finish on top. Plenty of crowd here too, awesome facilities and awesome racing.
Glad that you've wrapped it up that way. Congratulations to you both here at Hampton Downs. We're going to go back to commentary now. Reset for the podium very shortly. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rusty. So the breaking news is that there has been a stewards investigation underway now for the restart of car 26. So that is the Arise Racing Ferrari on the final restart of the race. Brock Feeney noted it. Clearly they gave the nudge to race control, as is their right to do, to investigate that at the point that he went on the restart. So keep your eyes as they come out of turn 10. Watch your eyes on the left-hand side of the screen to the flag post. And let's see if we can see the flag that's waving on the restart. So Elliott at this point has gone, and there's a yellow flag flying, and it disappears there. So at that point, Elliott had accelerated away from the field to get to the restart.
So that to me is a clear breach. So that is, wow. Wow, we didn't think there was much drama in that, but all of a sudden this championship is now still well alive.
So the stewards are deliberating over that as we speak. Let's go back down to Rusty for the podium.
Thank you very much, Richard. And we're just not sure if the Ferrari drivers are here with us for the podium. We're going to launch into it anyway, so welcome everybody to the podium presentation, race 2 of the 2025 GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS here at Hampton Downs. Presenting the trophies today, delighted to have with us, and we thank him too, Steve McLaughlin, on behalf of Pirelli. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the top 3 place cars from the Pro-Am class. They'll be happy about it in this neck of the woods too. In 3rd position for Wolfbrook Team MPC, how about it? Ryan Wood and Steve Brooks. Arise Racing are with us. Second place today in the Ferrari 296 GT3, Jackson Evans and Elliot Shute. And your winning combination for Kelso Electrical Team MPC in the Audi R8 on Sunday afternoon at Hampton Downs. He fought to the bitter end. Brad Schumacher and Brock Feeney. Media from both sides of the Tasman are here for the bookend to a huge season of GT3 racing. And still a bit to play at. We'll grab a photo of the podium for the final one for the season. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS Pro-Am winners. Drivers, hit the champagne. Time for the celebrations. Champagne flies here at Hampton Downs, and the crew here will help us to reset, because as we do in GT racing, we have various classes to acknowledge and to celebrate. So we will reset the podium here as the Pro-Am competitors venture on off, and we're going to get set for the Am class. So some fresh champagne, some trophies to be delivered as well. I think we are nearly in go mode. We've got all of the drivers here. We're conscious of track activity as well. So ladies and gentlemen, why don't we fire into this and welcome the two top place cars from the Am class. Please be generous in your applause. From Black Wolf Motorsport in the Mercedes AMG GT3, Benjamin Schutz and Shane Woodman. And your winners in the Am class, final one of the season. Nice way to do it here in New Zealand too. 111 Racing, Mercedes AMG GT3. Please, ladies and gentlemen, show your applause and appreciation. Grant Donaldson and Darren Curry. Jump on up to the top step there. Eyes forward, everybody, nice and smiley, as you should be at the end of a great championship too. Ladies and gentlemen, your GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS Am class winners. Drivers, time for the celebrations.
And we're back into the on-track action, straight into a safety car here in the final race of the weekend for the Porsche New Zealand Championship. Unfortunately there, the 36 car has fired off on the exit of turn 2 there. Stu, what's your verdict?
Oh, Marin Vukic, he'd be so upset. Look, he's doing this on a shoestring budget, only just